Hello, I am Dr. Balasubramanian speaking. Today we are going to see how to export a Scribus document into PDF and what settings need to be set in that export window. So now we are going to have a document. We will choose already open document which is already done, typed. I have created a new document running to 2 pages roughly, and text has been imported. Now I want to export this Scribus file as PDF. So when you choose the export option from file, you have the you can export the text alone as save as text, which can be opened in any of the word processor or notepad or wordpad, and then you can export the document as a EPS format. This is actually highly suitable for XML based web formats, and then you can export or save the document as PDF, and then you can export the document as an image, or you can export the document as scalable vector graphic. So these are all the various export options which are available. Now we need to focus only on export or save as PDF. So this is the common format in which the Scribus document is exported. The next common format happens to be the image format. If you want to export the file as an image, that will suit the purpose of a printer. A professional printer will like to have a document as image, so that if it is going to be a color document, all the more better if it is in the image format, so that the printer will have a good time printing a document. Then you can also have the option of exporting the document in scalable vector format. So again, here in scalable vector graphic format, where this format again can be embedded into a web page or XML page, all these things. There is also another option of exporting this same file into encapsulated PostScript format, EPS. So again, this format is again well suited to be embedded inside a XML format. So now we are more interested only in two things. One is the exporting the document in PDF format and exporting the document as an image format. Suppose you want to export the format as an image format, this is again suitable for printers, professional printers, as I have told you. And then I am going to focus more on save as PDF. So as soon as you choose the save as PDF, you have the option of changing the default folder in which the file is going to be saved. So that you can change the usually the default output file is stored in the document folder. So you can change the default folder. Now I have changed it to desktop. Now these are all the various tabs which are available here. What you can do is you can save the output as one file for each page. Again, that is also possible. So if you check this box, what happens is Scribus saves PDF, saves each page as a single PDF. Page 1 will be a separate PDF, page 2 will be separate PDF. Some of the printers will like to have separate files as PDF for enabling printing. So you can you have the choice of saving each page separately as PDF, or all the pages can be saved as a single PDF document. So you have the following tabs. Now we have opened the general tab. So in the general tab, you have the choice of exporting all the pages into the PDF document. So this is the complete export. You will export all the pages into the PDF. Supposing you want to send out this PDF document as a sample chapter for the potential users, you can choose the pages, interesting pages of your book, and then you can choose the pages which you want to be included in the PDF, and that is also possible. Supposing if you want to give out a sample, you check this radio button saving choose pages and export the relevant pages to be sent out for as a sample. Now you can rotate this orientation of the document either into portrait or landscape by choosing this option, but I will really advise you to choose the layout from the layout window rather than the final product. That is always advisable, because when you after this printing is over, you won't be able to get the same setting back. But whereas at the document level, if you choose the orientation, you always have the original file with you with the same setup, with the same settings. So that is always better. But here Scribus also gives you the option of rotating the file into either a portrait or a landscape at the time of printing. That is also possible. And then clip to printer margin. If you check this box, what happens is the printer margins will be clearly seen. The printer margin will be clearly seen, and the pages will be clipped at the level of the printer margin. And then there is another text box, another setting which allows the user to compress the text and graphics. Here if you choose this box, it will compress the graphics and it will also compress the text, so that the final resultant file will be reduced in size. So again, if you put a check box in this box choosing compression of text and vector graphics, it gives you the choices of compression method. You have the automatic choice of compression, then you have a lossy JPEG where the image files which are embedded as JPEG file, they will lose some of their resolution, so that is lossy. Supposing you want the images to be clearly seen without any loss of data, you can choose that lossless zip, and then you can also choose no compression, so none can also be chosen as far as the images are concerned. Then compression quality, you choose the maximum, you choose high, you choose minimum, and now the default is maximum. Supposing if you are not concerned about the size of the file, you can choose nil, or you can choose low compression also. So this window, this setting will be really useful if you are worried about the size of the file which you are going to send out after completing the manuscript. And then here this setting allows you to set the maximum image resolution to be embedded on the layout. So supposing you set this one like this, so what happens is any resolution above 300 dpi or the resolution you set here will not be imported into this page, or will not be printed, will not be accepted. So don't check this box if you want to do a good printing job. If you want your manuscript to be looking really good when it is printed, don't check this box. But this setting will be useful when you send your document out on web, where the size is a real issue. So the document size should be as less as possible, so that it can be easily downloaded and accessed. Then there is the file options. Here this gives you the ability of the user to set the compatibility. Suppose you say PDF 1.4, here this document when exported to PDF will be compatible from Acrobat 5, Adobe Acrobat Reader 5 upwards. So that is the meaning of 1.4. Then supposing if your file uses features like transparency, if you have laid out transparency layer, and if you have used encryption, 128-bit encryption, the minimum PDF compatibility should be 1.4. So when you choose this compatibility, you will have to take into account that the lesser the version, get better will be the access to people. But there are few trade-offs. Supposing your document contains transparencies, or if your document is encrypted and follows 128-bit encryption, you need to choose 1.4. And then if your document has enabled the color, then you need to choose PDF X1A or PDF X1. if you are going to use PDFX, what happens is your security of the document takes a beat. Your document, if you choose PDFX, becomes less secure when compared to 1.3, 1.4 or 1.5. But still, if you are using what do you call color palette, it is better to have X1A. And then the next thing is binding. Supposing in all English text, the binding is always on the left margin. So you have the choice of right margin or left margin. By default, it's left margin. But in all English text, the binding is always on the left margin. Then if you check this generate thumbnail, what happens is when you, as soon as the user double clicks the PDF document, thumbnails will be shown on the left side of the page. Every page which is there in the document will be displayed as thumbnails. And then you have another option of saving linked text frames as PDF articles. Supposing you have linked 2 or 3 text frames on various pages to hold the extra text. What happens is whenever you import text into a text frame, sometimes the text the volume of the text will be more than that of the frame. So what the ideal thing to do is you create another page, create another text box, and allow the text from this frame, excess text from this frame to flow to the other frame. Supposing you would have created many linked text frames, and then when you convert the same document to PDF, if you check this box, what happens is it converts all the linked text frames as a single article, single PDF article seamlessly. And then if you have created a bookmark for the page, if you say include bookmarks, the same will be included in the PDF as bookmarks. And then if you use EPS graphics, if you use EPS graphics in your EPS means encrypted PostScript graphics in your file, you can adjust the resolution to anything you want. But the minimum resolution when you want the document to be printed that will look good on a print document is 300 dpi. So this is the setting as far as the general tab is concerned. Next is the font tab. So what happens is when you are creating a Scribus document, you would have created a text box and you would have imported or typed some text into the text box, and you would have used certain fonts inside the text box. So what happens is, supposing if you are using a font, the same font may not be available with the PDF renderer. So what you do is you allow the software which generates a PDF to embed also the fonts. So since I am using a Arial bold font, this is already available in the PDF software. You need not, even if you import, it doesn't get imported. If you are using a rare type of font, it is ideal for you to choose the font and to embed the font. Then supposing you would have chosen some font for the header and some other type of fonts for the paragraph. So it is always better to choose all those fonts and give a embed all. Supposing if you embed all the fonts into the PDF document, naturally the size of the document will increase, but that is the safest thing to do. Supposing if you want an exact replica of the document which you have prepared in Scribus, you always choose all the fonts here available which will be listed. Here I have used only Arial bold, so since it is listing only one. Supposing if I have used multiple fonts, you can select all the fonts and then give embed all, then it will be embedded. Supposing what happens is some type of fonts will not be conducive to embedding, but whereas you will be able to embed their outline alone. So in that case, what it can do is you can embed the font as outline, so that if you embed font as outline, your PDF renderer will be able to choose the most appropriate matching font. If it does not have the same font, it will choose the most appropriate font and display the fonts as contents. So that is a choice here. So you can choose outline also if you are using some fancy fonts. So whenever you are using a not so common fonts, it is better to embed those fonts into the document. And let us go to the extras tab. Here this tab is very useful only when the user wants his document to be used as a presentation. So here you have the choice of enabling the presentation effects. You can enable the effect duration and then effect type, binds, dissolve, glitter, something like a PowerPoint. You can enable the effects, and then you have the choice of applying the effects to all the page, or you have the choice of applying effect to a specified page. Even that is also possible. Here if you click this button, show page preview, the page preview will show the effect which you have applied. So for example, here if let me apply some effect to this page, say box, and then show page preview, and then save. What happens is, I will give a name to this document, presentation, save. So now what will happen when we see the presentation as a PDF? So it just blinked, see, it just shakes. So that is the effect which it produces. So what you can do is, you can always give out this effect. Since it is only 1 second, you can increase the duration of the effect similarly and make the effect seen. Then the next is the viewer. So these are all the features which you enable or which you set to make the viewer enjoy your document to the best of its looks. So you can display the document as a single page document, or you can display the document as continuous document, where the user will be able to scroll the document continuously, and the double page left, double page right. These are all the various formats which are not commonly used in our PDF renderer. But if you are using this, you are welcome to try it out, but these are not commonly used. But visual appearance, you always use viewers defaults, because viewers will be comfortable with one type of setting alone. If you use some viewers defaults, your PDF file will be opened as per the default setting of the viewer. Or you can choose view full screen mode. If you choose full screen mode, the moment user double clicks on the file, it will open with the full screen mode. And then if you set this as display bookmarks tab, the PDF will display with the bookmarks on the opening window. And then if you choose this display thumbnail, the moment the user double clicks the PDF file, it will start displaying the thumbnail as the first page. And then you have the choice of hiding the viewers toolbars, hiding the menu bar, viewers menu bar, and then you have the choice of zoom the pages to fit the viewer window. All these things you can fiddle around with the visual appearance, but I will strongly suggest that you choose the viewers default as the optimal visual appearance. Security, here if you want to use encryption, usually it's 128-bit, you can password protect your file. Supposing you are going to set out a password for the owner of the file, supposing you give that file out, no one other than the owner will be able to edit the file. So that is called the master password of the document. So if you want to give the right of the edit to anyone, you need to send out the master password also, that is the owner password. Then you have the choice of setting a user password. The logic in setting the user password is to prevent unauthorized viewing of your document. So if you set the user password and send the file across in the internet along with the password, only if the user is able to, only when the user keys the given password, he or she will be able to view the document. So without keying the password, the user will not be able to view the document. And there are further settings, security setting. You can choose the user to allow printing the document, or you can disable printing by checking or unchecking this box. And then you can disallow users from changing the document in any way. But if you want to allow, you ensure this box is checked. If you want to allow the user to change the document, you check this box. And then if you don't want the user to copy or the text or graphics which you have given out in the document, you don't check this box. Suppose you want to allow the user the freedom of copying the text and graphics, you enable this box, and then I will advise you to keep this box checked because it allows the user the freedom to annotate the text. That will be helpful when the user is a serious user who is using your text for serious purpose like studying. So annotation, adding the scope of adding annotation should be given to the user. And then don't forget to press the save after you have created all the settings. And now in the color box, there's a general setting where you have the choice of giving out the output to be viewable on the screen or web. That setting, if you choose this setting, will be different, and then you can use a setting to allow the printer to make use of the document to be printed. Here the printers, if you choose the printer, or the entire document will be processed in such a way that it will look good on printing. So you can choose the color profile and color profile for the page and color profile for the images. For this to happen, you should take input from the printer. Or if you want your file size to be reduced and you are not bothered about the images losing their color, so you can choose grayscale. If you choose grayscale, all your color image also will be converted to white and black images, and your file size also will considerably reduce in size. And then next comes the prepress. So here in the prepress, so you can give out certain marks which are visible to the printer. So you can give out a crop marks to the printer. You can give out color bars on the top so that the printer will be able to give a match color, and then you can give out a page information. You can give out bleed marks. So now I will show you how these marks will look like on the finished page. Supposing if here this is actually the color bar which will be printed. So this is the white and grayscale bar, this is the color bar. So this is how the color bar will look. Then you see the page details. So this is actually the document 1, page 1, the date when it was converted. These details will be given as page details, and then you have the printer what do you call the margins. These are the margins which are visible. Here the bleed is not mentioned here. So you see the bars are there is no bleeder. Bleeder will be within this box. The bleeder will be within this box. The bleeder is not here. I will show you a bleeder. Here you see the bleeder. So bleeder is here. So this is actually the distance. It just marks the distance of the bleeder. So this is the, you draw vertical line along this, that is a bleeder. In a box. So that happens to be the bleeder is marked here. So you can allow these settings to be set. The prepress, these settings can be set, and then you can also set the bleeder by default. Here itself on the fly you can set the bleeder, but the problem is if you set the bleeder on the fly here, so now it is set at 10 points, that is a default bleeder value. It is ideal to set the bleeder value at the level of the document setting rather than at the level of the output, because the moment you set the bleeder here at the level of the output, the setting goes off after the document is converted into PDF, and after that this setting won't be available for the document. So at a later date, if you want to convert the same document into PDF, this value will be lost. But whereas if you do the same setting, if you give out the same setting at the level of the document level, this setting will be incorporated within the Scribus and linked to this document setting. So you will be able to faithfully reproduce the changes you have made. And now if you choose, say for example, PDFX, I'll show you what happens when you choose that. Here if I'm going to use PDFX because I have color, so what happens is you give out the choice, you will be given the option of Now I am giving out the PDF. I have indicated that I am going to give a PDFX. Now let me say in the pre-press what happens, this window opens, this becomes highlighted. So you can choose the aqua color, ISO color. These are all the color standards which the printer will look for. So you ask for the printer what color profile he wants it to have. So you choose the color profile accordingly before exporting the document. So this is actually the PDF X output only will enable the color profile, so that you can always do it here at this level. So this is how you export your Scribus document into PDF